Hello everyone and welcome to Chess 5, and today we are going to discuss the game between Peter Svidler versus Quang Liem, and the game is from the Grand Chess Tour St. Louis Rapid and Blitz 21, and this game is from the Rapid section and this is the round number 5. This game is very interesting because both the sides were winning, but the game just simply changed. So it's going to be very interesting to see the game. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Chess 5. So Peter Svidler with the white pieces and Quang Liem with the black pieces. So let's dive into the game and check what happened in the game. So Peter Svidler with the white pieces started with 1 e4 and Quang Liem with the black pieces replied with e5. We have bishop to c4, knight f6, d3, knight to c6, knight to f3, and now we have bishop to c5. So we have the Cuckoo piano opening. We have castle by white, and now we have h6 by black. So stopping this bishop g5 idea, spinning up the knight, attacking the queen, and also there would be no backline checkmates idea after castle. So after h6 we have a4 by white, and now we have a5 by black. So yep, all common stuff, it's all theory. We have bishop e3, and now we have a bishop trade. So after bishop trade, I personally feel that it's slightly better position for white already, because first of all the rook file is open, white have successfully castled, white pieces have been developed, although black pieces have also been developed, but white is also having a very nice center. He can play knight c3 followed by d4, and white is having much nice center comparatively to black. So that was the reason I think white is having a slight edge in the position. And perhaps the very nice idea could be to play queen e1 followed by knight h4, knight f5, and perhaps white is slightly better, definitely. So after f into e3 we have castle by black, knight to c3, we have d6, and now we have d4 by white, going for the center. Bishop to g4, queen to d2, bishop h5, queen f2, knight g4, attacking the queen and also putting pressure on the e3 pawn. So we have queen e1 by white, knight to b4, hitting the pawn on c2. So we have bishop to b3, king to h8, h3, hitting the knight. So knight went back to f6, and now we have a pawn trade, and now white knight captured the pawn on e5. So now white is a pawn up, so black played queen e7, hitting the knight, and now we have queen g3 by white, defending the knight. We have rook to e8 by black, double pressure on the knight, and now white rook just simply swings in. So we have rook to f5, and now we have king h7. If we try to play g6 in this position, hitting the rook, then white is having a very nice move in this position, which is rook into f6, capturing up the knight. After queen into f6, white can play knight to d7, hitting the queen as well as the rook. So black have to move the queen, and now it's knight into f8, and after rook into f8, white is already slightly better. So this was the reason g6 cannot be played, and we have king h7, rook to f1, bishop to g6, we have a trade, and now we have rook into e5, capturing up the another pawn. So black also captured the pawn on e4, knight into e4, rook into f1 check, king into f1, queen into e4, rook to c5. Very nice move by white, hitting the pawn on c7, and also there could be some tricky ideas of playing rook c4, hitting the knight as well as the queen. So black played knight a6, hitting the rook as well as protecting the pawn. So white simply played the rook to c4, hitting the queen. We have queen e7 by black, c3 by white, queen to e6, a5, queen f5 check, king g1. Now we have queen b1 check, hitting the queen as well as preparing to capture the pawn on b2. So we have king h2 by white. Queen into b2, capturing up the pawn and now also hitting the bishop on b3. So white played bishop to a4, hitting the rook on e8 now. And now we have c6 by black. So now it's a key moment in the game. So I want all of you guys to pause the video and try to find the best move for white in this position which was played in the game. So take your time, set up the board if you want, and try to find the best move for white. So okay, so all those who have found this nice idea by sacrificing the bishop for the pawn, congratulations, this is the right move. And so after capture you have to capture the bishop back because you are having no other choice. Yeah, so black captured, and now we have rook into c6. And after rook into c6, if you notice slightly, then you will notice that now the rook on c6 is attacking the knight on a6, as well as now the queen on g3 is attacking the pawn on g6, as well as the rook on c6 is also attacking the pawn on g6. And if the pawn will fall from the g6 square, then the king would be attacked on h7 as well as the rook on e8. So that's why black have to play g5 in this position, so that queen will not capture the pawn on g6 and followed by not capture the rook on e8. So after capturing after playing g5, we have queen to d6 by white, saying okay, I'm not going to capture the knight. White can definitely capture the knight, but playing queen d6 is also a fine move. You cannot move the knight because of this queen g6 capturing up the rook with the check. So black played queen c2 covering the g6 square, and now white simply captured up the queen. We have rook into e3, rook to a7, and this was the first blunder in the game. And at the place of playing rook a7, white can play simply something like rook to c6, keeping the pressure of this queen g6 idea followed by rook c8. But rook a7 was played, which was a blunder. So now it's your time. Feel free to pause the video. This is the second moment of the game. So feel free to pause the video and try to find the best move for black in this position, which was missed by Peter Svidler in the game. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so all those who have found the right move, you are very great at calculations and your logic and your skills, and the way you are trapping the king. If you find queen f2, kudos to you. This is the only move. And this is not the reason because you are hitting the rook on a7, and perhaps this could be, but the main reason here is let's take a sample move, something like if white tries to play a6 trying to push the pawn. Now it's mate in 2 because now comes a deadly move. Rook into h3 check. You cannot capture the rook with the pawn, it's a pin. King is having no square, rather to capture the rook on h3. So white have to capture the rook, and now we have a pretty mate by playing queen h4, and it's game over for white. So that was the reason queen f2 was simply winning. So the best reply for white is to play rook into g7 check, but it's still not working because after king into g7, white can give checks, a couple of checks, something like queen d4 check, king g6, perhaps queen d6 check back, king h5, and here black can run away, and it's winning for black. This was the reason queen f2 was winning, but we have queen f5 by Peter Svidler. He also missed this winning idea. Quang Liem missed the winning idea, and now I'm definitely sure that if Peter Svidler saw it, he would be very happy now. So after queen f5, we have queen to d4 by white, queen e5 check, and asking a force queen trade. So we have a queen trade. a6, rook c5, rook b7, rook into c3, a7, and rook a3. And after rook a3, if you count the material is even, And but okay, white is definitely having a slight edge because the pawn on a7 is very powerful. So it's slightly better for white, but it's very nice to see how Peter Svidler converted the game into a win. After rook a3, we have king g1, king g6, king f2. We have h5, king e2, h4, king d2, king to f5. White captured the rook captured the pawn. We have king e4. So basic idea of Peter Svidler here is white is trying to bring the king near to the rook, so that once he brings the king near to the rook have to leave the third rank, and then he will simply climb up and he will win the game. This is his idea, and black can't even stop it. So we have king c2, king f4, king b2, rook a6, king b3, king e3. We have rook f7, king d4, king b4, rook a1, king b5, king d5, king b6, king d6, king b7, rook b1 check, king c8, rook a1, king b8, king d5, and after king d5 on the move number 56, Quang Liem with the black pieces resigned the game, and Peter Svidler with the white pieces won the game. Both the players made the blunder, but okay, eventually Peter Svidler won the game, and yep, this was a very exciting game between these two players, and yep, Peter Svidler played a very nice end game at the end. Yep, and playing end game is the most toughest part, and we are definitely it is the most toughest part. That's why Quang Liem wasn't able to handle the end game, and he lost the game. So this was the interesting game. So if you guys like the game, then please like to my video. If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to come up with these new videos for you because the tournament have just begun, and there would be many games to see and enjoy. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Chess Files.